What is going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson on a Monday night, 10 p.m., part of the NGBN TV network. So you know what that means. The Sports Arena's in the house. And, man, we got so much to talk about tonight. I can definitely tell you, for all of our loyal followers and listeners, we're going to be here on NGBN TV till about 10:57. But then make sure you switch over to all of my social medias because I have a feeling tonight's episode may go into overtime. Let me get my man in here. Forks up. He's a Sun Devil Jerry Pitchfork Lunch on ASU alum. Mr. Mike Carrots Noodles in the building. What's up, Mike?
Man, you know I'm good. I was rooting for that. Our Sun Devil, baby. Brandon Ayuk, man. Oh, so bummed. You saw I got to talk to him, so I got out to Vegas, got to talk to him. But the good news is, like I told you, this is the third time now. I don't owe my buddy John a steak dinner, so the Cowboys still have a chance to win the Super Bowl for me, and he has to buy me steak dinner, E. But we got to get into it, man, because all I'm going to say is, and I'll let you – I know you're going to lead us there. We're going to talk game, but not every single, but there's 3 calls that I wanted to punch the refs in the face. And you know me. I usually just want to kick in the shins because I'm not violent. But I want
to – what do we always say? Mike, you and I have said this for 18 years. You got to be consistent. If you're going to call it in the first, you got to call it in the fourth. You got to call it at halftime, overtime. Doesn't matter. You got to call it. Be consistent. Either let them play.
And how do you not become part of the game if you don't make the same calls in the that you do in the regular season?
Exactly. So let's start with it, okay? Because we got to give love to now Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and the rest of that entire crew. Look, congratulations to them. All right, they did what they did. Being down double-digit points numerous times and continually finding a way to get punched in the mouth but still come out at the end of the day smelling like roses and flashing that hardware. So, Mike, give me your thoughts on the game itself.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andy Reid having 2 weeks to prepare. Steve Spagnuolo, same thing with Mike Shanahan. I mean, all this stuff, and we'll take it step by step. I won't go off on tangents because you know me. I like to go there because I get fired up. But that being said, it was like you want a good game. And on a side note, if you paid, because I thought, everybody, Sports Arena fans, I misunderstood Eric. I thought he was getting us a suite at the Super Bowl because it was just a very chump changes $2.1 million for a suite. So I thought Eric was taking us there, but yeah, if you got a suite, Eric, at $2.1 million, instead of it being about $500,000 a quarter, it went down to about $325 because you got some more bonus football. But look, I mean, both coaches had 2 weeks to get ready. We know that. Like Kyle Shanahan, for all we talk about the Chiefs, and Mahomes and that team going to 6 straight AFC championships, the Niners have been to 4, man. It's not a surprise. The first half, the first quarter, they were saying it during the broadcast, Romo and Nance. The first scoreless first quarter since that wonderful Patriots-Rams game. And, you knew they'd be evenly matched, and you knew that both defenses could make plays. 2 guys you really wouldn't expect to fumble for both teams did. But overall, it was a good game. Offenses made plays. And again, there should have been some down and distances that were a little different, but nonetheless, man, it lived up to what a Super Bowl should be.
Well, I would disagree with you and say the second half of the Super Bowl lived up to the expectation. But I'm telling you right now,
0-0. Come on.
Listen, the first 30 minutes of that game, Mike, I'm telling you right now, if I didn't have company at the house, I might have turned my PlayStation on because I was just like, this is what we doing? It's the Super Bowl, people. Come on now, cut it out. I respect what both Steve Wilkes and Steve Spagnuolo did defensively as far as containing and not allowing Brock Purdy to be Purdy and Mahomes to be Mahomes. But I'm just sitting here and I'm saying to myself, oh, this is going to be one of them type of games. I think I've grown into I want the Super Bowl to be exciting. During the regular season and during the playoffs, if games are not like the Raiders-Vikings game that was 3-0 until the fourth quarter, I don't want any of that. I want to see some points on the board. Let me be very clear about that. But for the Super Bowl, especially because in years past, there have been shootouts. There have been, okay, who's going to make that one key, crucial, pivotal mistake that's going to turn the tide? And this game, it just seemed like it was definitely more defensively structured than offensively structured in the first half. And I was like, nah, man, we can't do this. Not the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. It's in Vegas. We got, I mean, everybody and their grandmama showed out for this one. Like, we got to put something up there. Considering last year in your backyard in Arizona, when it was the Eagles and the Chiefs, 38-35, it was down the field score, down the field score, down the field. It was like that's what we have come to grow to be accustomed to. So I just have to say, and I'm sure you saw it because I put it on my social media last night after the game was over. I said, look, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Patrick Mahomes, 4-6, 3-1 Super Bowls. You know, he definitely, and I have said this, is the greatest of this generation. Greatest of an era, possibly. Okay, but he's still not the greatest of all time. But what I did say, and I want to make sure, because everybody's been chiming and chirping at me all day today, the Kansas City Chiefs are not a dynasty team as currently constructed. They're not. And anybody who feels otherwise, as I said, and as I will continually say, I'm a loudmouth with an opinion, so whether you like it or not, here it goes. And more importantly, I ain't a hard man to find.
You're not. But look, I don't throw it around easily either. You know me, because like the Steelers, yes, of the 70s, that was like the first, I guess you could say, modern like Super Bowl dynasty. I mean, I know you definitely could say that. The Steelers of the 70s. Then obviously what the Niners did into the 80s. And I mean, technically even leaking into the early 90s. I mean, the Niners were that team. And then the Cowboys, obviously, after, you know, Jimmy Johnson got there and that drafts and everything and turning it around, like they were that team of the 90s, which you still know that you probably would have been having to hear me. Well, you have to hear me anyway, but I always would have smiled.
Because you like to bring up old stuff. But let me go ahead.
Before
you jump any further,
they could have been the Cowboys could have won 4 in a row.
The sports reporter, look, you did it. Okay, sports reporter without pay is in the building. Our man Ray Lynn is joining us. Good evening, sir.
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Beautiful. So we're talking about, of course, the Super Bowl champions, and I've stood by what I said last night that Patrick Mahomes is in a class by himself, but the Chiefs are not a dynasty team. They're just not. As currently constructed right now, they're not.
I disagree with that.
All right, well.
What's the argument, though, against it? I mean, what makes you a dynasty then? If the Chiefs aren't a dynasty, who was?
So Mike was talking about it. In the 70s, you had the Steel Curtain with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right? Mm-hmm. In the 80s, the 49ers could have been considered that based on their runs that they had. As much as it pains me to say it, my high school years of the 90s was the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Right. So what did Dallas do that the Chiefs haven't done?
They've done the same. They won 3 out of 4. Or they
right.
won. The Chiefs won 2 out of 3.
They won 3 out of 4.
Cowboys won 3 out of 4.
Exactly. Mahomes has won. He's 3 out of 4 as well. But what I'm saying to you is we're not talking about Mahomes. See, that's where everybody gets the misconception. Everybody thinks I'm talking about Mahomes, and I'm not. I'm talking about the entire 53-man roster. Okay? Yes, you have been to 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. Your basement, as we have said numerous times, is the AFC Championship game. Pencil the Kansas City Chiefs in for 12, anywhere between 11 and 14 wins a season. They're going to go, whether they be on the road or whether they be at home, they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. It's just a matter of who their opponent's going to be. Okay? But looking at this team right now, with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you can name the list on either side, offensive or defensively. In order for me to call them a dynasty team, they have to win 3. They have to win next year and go back to back. Something that's never been done. But they have to do.
But they won 3 though. Like, how are we ignoring that?
I'm not ignoring it. I'm simply saying I'm not calling them a dynasty.
I understand your point. I respect it, but right before you go, I just respectfully disagree. That's dynasty to me.
Okay. But I don't even know how you're. What do you mean you understand? What do you tell me, Mike? Because you tell me what you understand about his point.
He's saying if they win 3 in a row, they'll be a dynasty. They'd be the first ever to win 3 in a row.
That's my point. So if that's the criteria, there's never been a dynasty,
right?
Because of how. Listen, all right. So let me retort then. Because of how Patrick Mahomes is doing things, he is changing how I view a dynasty. All right? Because we never seen this before. And again, it's not just him. It's the entire team. We were all, well, not all of us, not you, Ray. I'll speak for myself. I won't speak for you. When Tyreek Hill left and went to Miami, there were some of us, myself partly included, who was like, Chiefs might fall off. Never said Mahomes. I said Chiefs might fall off. Why? Because they don't have the cheetah. When they bring in guys from other players, when they bring in a Kadarius Toney or a Marquez Valdez-Scantling or a Rashid Rice or, they drafted Pacheco and they have Travis Kelce, you are introducing new pieces to a system that continually is showing us, can they get it done? Yes. Are they getting it done? Right now, yeah. But Patrick Mahomes himself is the one, along with Andy Reid, they are the ones changing that narrative, which is why I say he's the greatest of this generation, greatest of an era. I won't call him the greatest of all time. I will not. If he does what no quarterback, no NFL team has done, and we're sitting here arguably 1 year later coming off of New Orleans, and they are now 4 out of 5, okay. At that point, guess what? You can put the humble pie and Michael Jordan crying meme up and say whatever you want to say about me. Because at that point, I won't have it.
But
you
why
can't
we
do
can't
it
do
now.
that now?
You can't do that now.
I don't know what you. Nothing you said has made an argument. Like, so if you're going, you said Mahomes is, but we know the main 3 cogs in all of this that the entire time, right, has been Kelce, Mahomes, and Andy Reid. Like, we've thought of the Chiefs as this high-powered offense. When Tyreek Hill left, people thought that would change something. It didn't. And this year they was winning games a little differently. Like, it was more of a defensive. Like, the way their offense played this postseason, if that defense wasn't doing what it was doing, this wasn't the Chiefs of the past. But then we saw in every game, in those crunch time moments, they revert to 15 is going to do what 15 does. So if we have all these moving pieces, but the main cogs are still in place, the core of the team has stayed the same, their identity shifted just a little, I don't understand what the argument is. But like, it's not like we're saying, well, that's a different team. It's the same guy in the center. It's the same weapon. It's the same head coach. We talking 4 Super Bowl appearances in the last 5 years. 3 of them they won. If that's not a dynasty, there isn't one in the history of football. If you're saying the Cowboys in the 90s were a dynasty, then this is the dynasty. They won 3 just like they did. It wasn't 3 in a row. I think the Cowboys went 2, didn't win, didn't win again.
They won 3 out of 4.
They won 92, 93, and 95, right? Those were the years, Mike.
They won 2 and didn't win another one. That's what I just said, Mike.
Oh,
it wasn't 3 in a row. They won 2, missed a year, didn't win one. I think San Francisco won the year they didn't, right?
Yeah, they beat the Chargers.
So it again, I don't know who meets the criteria then. If even the Patriots, right? The early 2000s Patriots, 1, 2, it was the same thing. They went 3 out of 4 or something like that, right?
Yeah. 01, 03, 04.
I mean, we could make a case for just 2. It's the first time our team went back-to-back in 20 years. That tell you how hard it is. And they've won 3 in 5 years with the same core. And then and when you tie into the other part of it, it's not like when they're not winning, they bottom feeders. We're talking 6 straight AFC championship games. So we're now calling it the Chiefs Bowl, right? 6 straight AFC championships. If you get 1, maybe 2 championships out of that, you go, man, that's kind of dynastic. We talking 4 Super Bowl appearances and 3 of them resulting in Super Bowls. I don't know who or what else we can call a dynasty if that's not it. Like, I don't know where we're moving the goalpost to say that this version of the Kansas City Chiefs isn't a dynasty. Like 3 Super Bowls?
But not with the same team, because Tyreek left, They've had other wide receivers and other players, both offensively and defensively, go
that's
to
every
different
team.
teams or come in.
That's every team, right? Nobody complained when Deion Sanders came to Dallas.
Well, I did, but that's just
or Charles Haley. Don't forget about Charles Haley.
When Deion came, it wasn't, well, it's not the same team no more. It just added pieces. If anything, losing a Tyreek Hill, losing a really of significance, that's really it. Like, even when Juju was there, nobody cared, right? Like, but losing a Tyreek Hill and then winning 2 consecutive Super Bowls only speaks more to the team dynamic, right? Like, to say they lost a guy that good who we could easily make a case for as the best receiver in the game. The conversation is real small. It's him, it's Devontae, it's Jamar Chase, it's Justin Jefferson, it's those guys, right? He's in that top 5. You could say he's number 1, somebody could say he's number 5, but those guys are the elite echelon of wide receivers in football. They lost that guy. And I wish John Shear was here right now. Because we talked about this all last year. He's thinking and dunking and thinking, and he done went to 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Notice that too. Oh, who's famous for doing that right there when they want to score? He wasn't doing
Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill,
right? So I don't know, man. Like, to me, if everything that's been thrown at them, they've overcome, right? When they lost Tyreek Hill after the 2021 season, that was the whole thing. They're not going to be the same. What are they going to do without Tyreek Hill? Nothing. We're going to go 14-3 and win a Super Bowl. Eric Bieniemy's going. What are they going to do now? Nothing. We're going to go and win another Super Bowl. Everything, to me, that speaks to the entire team. Like, when you're as good as they are, people are going to want pieces from your team, if for no other reason than to try to destroy what it is you're doing. Yeah, people are going to come throw a bag at Tyreek Hill. And people thought that was going to.
I was going to say, Ray, the crazy part about that with Tyreek Hill, but now they have, and I didn't realize it. I thought it was the Texans, but the Chiefs have the youngest defense in the NFL.
And that defense was really good this year. Like, we just watched that defense hold up against San Francisco, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Like, when we talk about memorable playoff runs, right?
For them this year, it was. And I will give Kansas City that credit. This year for Kansas City was a memorable playoff one. Why? Because they had to go into Buffalo and they had to go into Baltimore and beat both of those teams, something that they had not had to do in previous years. So their playoff run was, I will give them, far and away, that was memorable. Because you had to go into hostile territory not once but twice. Where when traditionally over the past 6 years, you've been able to sit back and say, no, y'all come to my house. Y'all come on my jungle gym, and when I'm ready to kick you out and send you home crying and screaming, then that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I can't in any world understand any logic for them not being like, I listen, but it's like, I don't know, what again, if they're not, I just need to know who is, right? Like, because again, the only loss we're talking about is Tyreek Hill. Chris Jones been there the whole time. Andy Reid's been there the whole time. Mahomes been there the whole time. Kelsey been there the whole time. Like, the core of what they've done has been the same. Again, the only major, some of those receiver additions and subtract, we saw they didn't matter. And then for people to say, oh, well, what's he going to do without? He's going to find McCole Hartman for the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's what he's going to do without Tyreek Hill.
He started the season leading them with the Jets.
Valdez-Scantling against Baltimore, against that Baltimore defense, when you needed to get a first down to seal the deal. No, I get it. Like, I'm telling you right now, again, my opinion, I just don't feel like, based on the evolution of the game, based on the fact that the NFL has continually moved the goalposts, and yes, Patrick Mahomes is continually knocking down those obstacles, but as constructed right now, and I'll say it, the mistakes that were made on the field by Kadarius Toney this season that were so put in our faces, the team at one point, everybody thought that this wasn't their year. Have they overcome all those obstacles? Yes. But now we have to recognize that what San Francisco did, what Steve Wilks did in the Super Bowl, and we'll get to San Francisco once we're done talking to Raphael, what Steve Wilkes did in the first half of that game was establish dominance over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense. It wasn't until the second half that Mahomes was Mahomes. And everybody's like, just put the ball in 15's hands and let him go do his thing. So I just
you want to hear an interesting stat, Eric?
Please.
What would you say if I told you that that's been the ebb and flow? You realize every Super Bowl he won, they was down double digits. Every single one. Which is the craziest stat I heard yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, because when you get to the Super Bowl, obviously you're playing the representative from the other conference. And this is 2 against San Francisco, another one against your Philadelphia Eagles. And you're down double digits against both those teams, which were good defensive teams too. So it's even harder to come back because those were great teams on both sides of the ball. You got to stop their offense, and then you have to score against their defense to get back in the game. And he just did just that, man. Like that's why I said, what is it, 15 hour long game, right? Like you got to play. You got to play the whole game, and the Chiefs did that in every single game. They are the epitome of that meme where the guy's sitting back and then halftime he gets serious. He sit up on the sticks. Like that's what they do to everybody, man. Like again, man, the Chiefs could go on 17 next year. It won't change this run that they just had.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
mean? You can't say that though. 0-17.
I'm you listen to what I'm saying, because for me to say they have to do more is to alleviate everything they've done already. I'm not going to move that goalpost. So when I say they can go on 17, we could then look back and say, man, those 2019 through 24 Chiefs, Lord, like, because that right there, because at some point it ends, right? Dallas has ended at some point. Like New England's ended at some point. The Steel Curtain ended at some point. The 80 San Francisco 49ers, it ended at some point. The 92, it's like the 99 Chicago Bulls sucked. Does that change what they did from 91 to 98? It doesn't. So
minus 94 and 95 without Jordan. It doesn't. You're right about that. It doesn't.
That's kind of the point, though. It's like, and that's why I'm using the most extreme version. If the Chiefs went on 17 next year, it won't change what I felt about what they did from the last 6 years. And I'm including the whole 6, right?
Yeah, right. Because to piggyback off your point too, that's a great point, because I read it. Remember, it was before the season started, or before our playoffs last year, and somebody put in the comments, I don't remember who, about the Patriots, this and that. Yeah, they won all those division titles, but they also went and again, I understand it's getting to the Super Bowl and you have to win your division, get to the playoffs. But I'm just saying, we called them a dynasty when they didn't sniff a Super Bowl after they went back to back for 5 years. And then it was another 3 or 4, and then they went on another run. But I understand you're going to call that a dynasty. So yeah, I mean, I guess to Eric's point, Eric, I can see what Ray's saying to you, because if the Chiefs had just went to 6 AFC championships and didn't go to 1 Super Bowl, okay, you could be like, okay, they're like the Buffalo Bills Jr. They went to 6 straight AFC championships, which is insane. But they didn't get over that. I mean, yeah, the Bills won the Super Bowl too. So yeah, I mean, I just that to me is just the crazy part, because it's early on with Mahomes, like we've all said from his starting, guys, that 6 years starting, 6 years in the AFC Championship. Brady didn't do that. Montana didn't do that. All these teams were naming, they did not do that.
Montana also never lost a Super Bowl.
No, absolutely. No, I'm right, 100%. I mean, 4-0, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions. Yeah, I mean, that's so insane.
Because I don't know how much time we got. I don't know what y'all talked about in the 3 or 4 minutes before I came on.
No, we just talked about this. That's it. Just this.
I wish John was here. I wish John was here. Can we please put to rest any, and I mean any doubt anybody could ever have about number 15? Number 15.
You'll get no argument from me, Ray. Truly, I can't go that high, but for the purposes of this conversation, Patrick Mahomes is here, and the number 2, don't matter who it is, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Deshaun, CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Dak. I don't care who you want to throw. Matthew Stafford, Jared. I don't care who you throw in at number 2. You here?
Listen, man. He's now in the type of conversation where he's no longer playing. He's no longer competing against the quarterbacks that are playing now. He's competing against history now, right? He's now competing against Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And a lot of people say he's just competing against Tom Brady at this point, right? And for me, right, you have best and you have greatest. Tom Brady's resume is just absolutely insane, right? Especially considering how much people credit quarterbacks with wins and losses, right? Tom Brady gets a lot of credit, but even yesterday, I always talk about special teams. Like Bucker made a 57-yard field goal yesterday, right? Like, I mean, and he just laced it. And the
couldn't make it. Well, that extra point was blocked. Never mind. Go ahead.
That wasn't him though. That was San Francisco.
That wasn't him.
San Francisco field goal kicker with a 55-yarder for the first score of the game.
So, like when I tell you, we've seen, and Brady's was the opposite way. Brady early in his career was the game manager, right? That term is kind of floating around now. And then later on, we saw he could light it up too. And then late in his career, he just dissected defense. He did whatever he needed to do to win. Mahomes is 6 years into the league, and we've seen him win almost every way possible, right? The Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, they could air it out on you. He could throw for 400. It wouldn't matter, right? He just would go out there and sling it all over the yard, the sidearm passes and no look and left hand shovel passes. He was doing everything. And then Tyreek Hill left. And again, John Shear all last year, they just dinking and dunking. He's taking what the defense is giving him. Even when Tyreek was there, teams started bracketing him. You saw Mahomes figured it out. Okay, if that's what y'all are going to do, I'm going to beat you this way, right? And then what did we see yesterday? He running the ball on a read option on 4th and 1 in the Super Bowl. And then he drops back, looks, and then takes off up the middle for 20. He's running the ball now. He's not, and if you paid attention, he's always done that. But on the biggest stage and the biggest moment with his team with the ball and needing to go down the field to win the game on 4th down, he runs the ball, Eric. Game on the line. Did you see the play? Did you see the touchdown pass to Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah.
I watched a thing today where they broke the whole play down. Earlier in the game, they ran that same look and he hit Travis Kelce on an out route. But when he did it, Travis Kelce got tackled so fast because the safety came down and met him, right? So when they ran the same look again, he looks him off at Travis Kelce and then just floats one over the nickelback, like because the safety done came down. He's unbelievable, man. He's unbelievable. Like, and it's not like, oh, it's just him and Travis Kelce. Man, this dude is making throws to McCole Hartman and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's running the ball.
Right.
He's taking the check down when they're there. God, he's phenomenal, man.
No, he is. And we got to leave it there. Mike, we got to leave it there. And we will, trust me, we will have more time. Like I told people when we started the show, there's a pretty good chance we're going to go to overtime. But we're being on NGBN TV. We got to cut the commercial. We'll be back because my man Raphael will be in the building. We are going to talk some prop bets. More with the crew when we return. National Scouting Combine a week from today, live in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Grand Park Events Center. These athletes are going to get the experience that is going to benefit them, help them, and propel them potentially to the next stage in their journey. With that being said, I got to welcome in. He is he's a handicapper for Doc Sports and Global Odds Maker. Raphael is in the building. What's up, sir?
What's going on? I was listening to you guys as I signed in a little early. I wanted to see what you guys were talking about, and I'm a believer. I wasn't a believer before, but I'm a believer now that the Chiefs are a dynasty, and I have to say you guys talked way too much about a wide receiver. I'm sorry. Tyreek Hill did not. You could have put anybody on that team for Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to find them. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is a slum or he's not good and all that, but I look back in many years. Wide receivers don't change numbers. Wide receivers don't change betting numbers or favorites and stuff like that. Jerry Rice really didn't change betting numbers when he was on the San Francisco with Joe Montana and stuff like that. But it's all because of Mahomes and the head coach. It's just them two just gel. And I wasn't a believer, but I have to put the D on them right now. They are a dynasty.
That's fine, my brother. I got you for a few minutes. So let's talk about, I know it's way too early because it just ended less than 24 hours ago. But what are we looking like as far as odds makers for next year's Super Bowl?
Well, if the 49ers would have won, we would have probably had the 49ers at 4 plus 450. They were the favorites, Chiefs 6-1. So we reversed it. Pat, you can't go against Patrick Mahomes now. Chiefs now plus 450. They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. 49ers are 6-1. The Lions are 7-1. Ravens 12-1, 14-1 for the Bills, and I think 16-1 around the Bengals, and then just keeps on going on. But we just cannot fade them. I mean, granted, we won on the futures. Remember the Kansas City Chiefs? We didn't even think they could make the playoffs, so we needed the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl on Sunday. For future-wise, we lost on the game itself because everyone was taking the money line. Plus, they weren't taking the +2; they were taking the Chiefs. Money lines, so the public beat us up on that. But if you kind of think about it, we actually needed them because 49ers were pretty much the favorites all along throughout this. So we had a heavy money on San Francisco 49ers.
Wow. All right. So, I mean, the fact that the Lions are 7-1, I'm happy about that, man, because I really thought this was going to be their year, but I'm excited to see them now be in the mix with the Baltimores of the world, the Buffaloes of the world, the Cincinnatis of the world. But the fact that they're number 3, I think, does put the emphasis and the expectation on them because right now it is their division. The NFC North is their division.
It's theirs and Packers maybe a little bit below her. It all depends on what they do in the offseason. Before I was telling people, I was at Media Row. I was telling everyone the Lions would have been the only public favorite. Everyone would have probably cheered for them. I mean, the Kansas City are now the New England Patriots of the 90s when Brady was winning. Everyone hated the Patriots. Everyone hated Brady, Belichick. This is our era. Everyone hates Patrick Mahomes and Ryan because he wins too much. I think the whole world would have bet and would have cheered if the Lions were in the Super Bowl. I think we would have been so buried on Lions money if they were in the Super Bowl this year playing against Kansas City. I wish it would happen because I would love to see the Lions win a ship.
I think sooner rather than later we're going to see that. Let's transition really quick to the NBA because we got All-Star Weekend coming up. What are the odds with the All-Star Weekend?
Dunk contest is up already. We just put 3-point contest up there. The dunk contest, which is snooze fest lately, we all know that it's all about 3-point contest. I'm excited to see Steph Curry and Nisku. Their 3-point contest that they're having. Steph Curry -$2 favorite. Nisku says she's going to shoot from the men's 3-point line. Which is very impressive. I hope she wins. That'd be great if she beats Steph Curry. But in the dunk contest, give me Jaylen Brown. He's +450. Mac McClung is the favorite, -$2. Jacob Toppin +550. And Jaime Jaquez from Miami. Give me a break. He's 7-1. He should be 100-1. I don't see him winning it on that one. But 3-point contest. Everyone's gonna bet Damian Lillard. He's +450. Would not be shocked if he goes to 350. But give me Tyrese Halliburton. He's the home favorite. He's +$5 right now. And give me Lauri Markkanen, +650. He's shooting the ball nicely now. Now that he was in the trade rumors all through the trade deadline. Was he going to go? He's not. Now he's not. He's staying there. He's probably a little bit more comfortable. Give me the white guy in Indiana.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our man, as I call him, the handicapper for Doc Sports and Global Odds Maker. Mr. Raphael Esparza, man, brother, much love to you. Thank you so much. Sorry I was not out there in Vegas, but we will definitely hook up at some point, my brother.
I met Michael. He seemed like such a cool guy. I was so glad I got to meet him. Got to meet a lot of faces. And
there is nothing cool about being a Cowboys fan, okay?
No.
I'm sorry.
And NGBN TV, the MyBookie promo code is live today. It started live on Monday today.
Yes.
So if you want to sign up at MyBookie today, use the promo code NGBN TV. That's also live today. Hopefully starting next week. Every show I'm on at NGBN TV, I shout out on all my social media with the link that you can sign up today. But it is live. Go to MyBookie, sign up today, use the promo code NGBN TV. Always a pleasure to be on your show, Eric. I apologize I missed it last weekend, but the guys had me working.
You were busy dealing with Taylor Swift prop bets. It's all good. Don't even worry about it.
196 ended up prop bets. We got really quick story. I know you're far behind.
Sure. Go ahead.
The biggest lopsided prop bet I've ever seen since doing this for almost 30 years was a coin toss. We had so much tails money. 67% of the money was coming in on tails. When it went heads, I bet you every odds maker took a deep breath. I have never seen so much heads money coming in on the 50-50 prop bet, a coin toss. 67% was ridiculous how much money was coming in on tails.
Unbelievable. My brother, I'll talk to you next week. Much love to you. Appreciate it.
Take it easy. Great show, guys. Great show.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. More with the Sports Arena.
What's up? My name is Chris Rubio, and I'm the host of The Rubio Method on the NGBN TV network.
Focus up.
Long snapping and life are very, very similar.
We have a great show that's going to educate you, inspire you, and most importantly, entertain you. I say most importantly because that's what I really want to do. And we're just kind of going on this journey together. And I'm going to make sure as we go on this journey together, you're going to have a good time while doing it. So check out The Rubio Method on NGBN TV.
Welcome back into the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson alongside my co-host, the sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn, and Mike Carrot-Tenuto. Forks Up, Pitchfork Lunch, ASU. He's a Sun Devil, Jerry. Mike, your monologue. I mean, your intro keeps getting longer and longer. We're going to shorten that at some point. All right. So we talked about the Chiefs. We talked about the success, and we talked about all the accolades. So we're going to switch gears. You know what time it is, don't you, gentlemen? Yes, sir.
Last thing, because I don't think any of us said it. And I'll just look at Denzel's comment, and it's worth mentioning. Somebody got to give Spagnuolo some credit, man. We talking 4 high-powered offenses. We talking Miami, Buffalo, Baltimore, and San Francisco got held to 7, 24, 10, and 22. Like that's very noteworthy. That's crazy, actually.
Here's what I'll say to you about that, Ray. As someone who has had to endure his defenses for the majority of my adult life, both Mike and I, that's just what we used to when it comes to Steve Spagnuolo. You know, the expectation that we put on Patrick Mahomes that, oh, he's just going to do this. That's the same thing that Mike and I give to Steve Spagnuolo. When we see the defenses that he rolls out there and some of the things that he is capable of doing with the squad that he has, it's just one of those, yep, that's a Spags defense. You can look at how they run the 4-3, 3-4, the dime, the prevent. You can look at it and just know that is a Steve Spagnuolo defense. So I completely respect what Denzel was saying. Much love to him. I'm glad, Mike, you and him had a chance to connect up at Radio Row. But, man, that's just Spags. You know what I'm saying? It's like me saying when I tell people all the time, yo, if you're going to think you're going to debate the sports reporter about Pay Ray Lynn, you come with that foolishness, he's going to chop you down. Don't even think about it. You have to come with your A+ game because Ray will carve you up and send you home crying. It's just
Eric,
what –
Eric, don't you remember the excuses after when the Giants beat the Pats out here when they were trying to go undefeated? Is that, Spags didn't – people, I mean, literally and I'm not saying it was everybody in New England radio, but long story short, they're saying, oh, man, they played him that last game of the season. They beat him. Spags got so much. Spags had 2 weeks to get ready for the game, and they still ran a lot of the same packages, if you saw it, with that NASCAR package the Giants had in the Super Bowl. But, yeah, a second time playing him, to your point, you're just saying to Ray, you play him a second time, and forget it. It's insane.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, we talked about the accolades, so we're going to switch gears, and we're going to play the blame game because, with all the credit comes all the criticism. So, Ray, who you blaming for San Francisco's loss last night in the Super Bowl?
15. If we like, it's hard because it's one of them things where somebody has to lose, right? And I said in regulation, I made a post on Facebook because I don't want to make it late. I said 15 with the Rock with less than 2 minutes is scary, right? And he did what he does. And then he got the ball in overtime and did what he does, right? Like it just wasn't enough. I will say this, right? Hearing some of the players today from San Francisco talk about not knowing the rules, right? That's a coaching failure, right? That's a preparation failure because if they don't know the rules, knowing the rules, it develops a mindset, right? If you know that, well, when we go out here, right, like it behooves us to put up 7 because if we don't, right, for whatever it is. But they didn't understand the rules. Even if you're watching the game as the clock was winding down before they threw the game-winning touchdown, the announcers were saying, they was laughing. They was like, this will be the first time it's an overtime game. They was like, because if this clock goes to 0, it's still Kansas City's first possession. So they're just going to flip the field and they're still going to have the ball. It's not like back in the day where if overtime ran out. Well, back in the day, the first score won. So if it was the Super Bowl, if the score was tied, it would have whatever. But the new rules where even if they just scored 7 first, Kansas City would have the opportunity to match it. And from what I heard watching shows today, they were saying Kansas City been talking about this since preseason. They said if it came down to them, they was going to take the ball second and go for 2 if the other team scored. Right? Like it was in their DNA already. This is what we're going to do. And you got San Francisco players after the game is over saying, we didn't even understand how it worked. I didn't know they were going to. That's a preparation thing. Is it why they lost? Maybe not. But that's a failure, right? Like for them to not understand what was going on in the biggest game of the year. And now this situation comes up and you got players that are like, I didn't know that was how that went. That's a preparation failure. But as far as the actual gameplay itself, it's just like what happened with my Lions versus San Francisco, man. That second half, if it could have went wrong for San Francisco, it did, right? Starting from that kick, and you're watching it in real time going, well, did somebody touch it? And then they show it in, the replay. It's like, oh, it went off the back of his heel. How did that happen? So now Mahomes, it's like a shooter that's having a bad game, and they say, don't put him on the free throw line. You don't want to let him see one go in.
Yep.
They get a fumble, and now Mahomes gets an easy touchdown. And then from there, I was like, bro, they was clicking after that. You know what I mean? So, it just, I think the better, more prepared, more well-coached, more seasoned, but in this situation, top to bottom, if you remove the quarterback from the equation, San Francisco is a better team, top to bottom. Kansas City had the better guy in the center, and it showed in this game. So if I was blaming anybody, I'm not blaming Brock Purdy. First Super Bowl, second-year starter. He just got outplayed by the best of his generation. Out of this screen right here, I'd have to blame Shanahan. Right?
I just put that up there.
I know.
Okay.
That's really the only people you can blame. And I would venture to say Shanahan's track record doesn't help his case either. Right?
This is true. Mike, you can shake your head all you want, but you can't ignore it.
I'm just simply saying, blowing big leads in big games.
Seems to be Mike.
Right. Everybody says that. And Ray, like you and I are on the same page. So obviously I'm not just sitting here coming after you as low-hanging fruit, a cheap debate or anything, but I get it. Like one team does have to lose. Teams are going to make adjustments. When you get to the Super Bowl, like you just said, you're playing that winner from the other conference, which you're going to think, okay. And like you said, top to bottom, yeah, outside of the QBs, like the Niners are that team. They have those dudes. The players saying it, Ray, like I'll give you, of course, I know you'll say it's my typical answer. Like, yeah, is it a preparation thing? Yes. But even the old overtime rules, when it went to 0, how many, like, and there were ties in the NFL. You know how many players said, I thought we were just going to keep going. Like, they've been playing the league for how long? And I'm not saying rookies saying that. There were vets. They used to say, I don't understand the game could end in a tie. Now, yes, Kansas City to talk about that preparation thing, but everybody that's blaming Kyle Shanahan saying, man, take the ball second. What's the one thing we say, Eric, that Josh Allen only did wrong against the Chiefs that year when in the playoffs when it went to overtime?
Gave him too much time. Gave him too much time.
No, too much time, and he also called the wrong thing. He called heads and it was tails, or tails and it was heads. He lost the coin toss, right? Ray, you always say that, and it's true because their defense was just on the field. So everybody today, and I'm not saying everybody, but I know we heard a lot of the same conversations, Ray, and people were messaging me saying there's no way you can defend Kyle Shanahan. If Buffalo would have went on the field, if Buffalo would have won that toss and had their defense on the field, even if they don't score, at least they gave their defense a breather. What did Ray just say? Like, for the Niners to take the ball and people saying, well, if their players don't understand, if Kyle Shanahan understands, why shouldn't he explain it to them? You just had 15 march down the field, get the time field goal, right? Why put your defense back out there? We saw how that annihilated Buffalo. I don't care if it was 3 years ago. Tyreek Hill's there. The same quarterback like we're talking about. Of course I'm putting the offense out there. Where I blame Kyle Shanahan, where I blame him, and people say it's overtime, so you would have lost the Super Bowl. With that Niners team, because look, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, they bottled him up okay. He had 3.6 per carry. Wasn't obviously phenomenal, but he was almost at 4 yards a carry. It's 4th and 3 on the 7, and you're in overtime. And yes, everybody said to me 15. I get Mahomes. I'm with you guys. I'm not John sitting there saying he's dinking and dunking because it was guys like John and other people that were, when Brady was doing it, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, Eric, and you know how much that annoyed me. But it's 4th and 3 on the Chiefs 7-yard line. It's overtime. If you're Kyle Shanahan and Ray, and I said this to one of them, there was some Lions fans I was watching the game with yesterday. I said, man, I wish Dan Campbell was a coach right now, and I'm not making fun of you because I was with Derek, man. I was all about the Lions winning. Go for it on 4th and 3. If you don't get the first down or if you get stopped, they got to go 93 yards, right? Less than 93 I get for a field goal, and I get he hit a 57-yarder. The Niners kicker hit the 55-yarder. But I'm more pissed at Kyle Shanahan for not going for it. Because if you look at the incompletion in the flat, Brandon Ayuk was in the middle of the end zone with nobody within 5 yards of him. And I know Chris Jones was there. So, again, I understand the play. But if Purdy puts it in the middle and floats it in the middle, it's a touchdown to Ayuk. So I'm more pissed you don't go for it. And on the 7-yard line, and you can fire back. Everybody did last night and today. I go for it there. I make him go 93. I at least make the defense. Now you put some pressure. You change the play calling a little bit. You know they're not just going to take it, put him in the shotgun and, let him wait and chuck it to somebody 40 yards downfield. You could try against that defense. And if the defense and if the tackle can hug Nick Bosa like he hugged him literally for 4 plays last night and no flag got thrown, like we were talking about, Eric, but I blame Shanahan for not going for it on 4th down. I'm all for taking the ball first because why do you put your defense right back on the field? Because he's just going to march down again. If you're talking about Mahomes and consistency, what side of the mouth do you want? Shanahan made the right decision, but he did not make the right decision. You know me, Eric. I'm not the armchair coach. They're the coaches. They're doing it. But I said you go for it if you don't get it on 3rd down. You go for 4th and 3. You try and get the first down and the touchdown.
Okay. So Ray is saying 15, Patrick Mahomes, the greatest of this generation. You are saying Kyle Shanahan to some degree.
I'm telling you right now. I agree with the way I gave a me answer. I'm saying 15, yes.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And Kyle Shanahan not going for it on 4th down.
Mike, at the end of the day, you do you, boo-boo. That's a Mike Cartoon answer. That's what I expect on the sports arena. But I'm going to tell you right now, the person that I blame for the 49ers losing, and I hate black-on-black crime, but Steve Wilks, I just don't get it. You had momentum. Your defense had momentum. You were shutting down everybody from Pacheco to Ayuk to Kittle to Mahomes. From Kelsey, Mahomes himself. And the second half, y'all just took your foot off the gas. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, you this team that we know can be down double digits can turn the game around in the second half. And Steve Wilks, I understand. Listen, what's the boy's name? Greenlaw. He went out, and I know that played into the mental psyche. But I was just like, y'all cannot just be allowing Mahomes to be Mahomes when you were able to suffocate him. You were able to contain him. Was he going to find a way to make adjustments? We know Patrick Mahomes can do that. But on
Eric,
the biggest stage, hold on. On the biggest stage, on the biggest game, and you know that it's not even on paper. It's a fact. We have said this all season long. If your names are in no particular order, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, y'all are winning. That offense is prolific. Okay? And the defense, all they had to do, under you, Steve Wilkes, all they had to do was what you did in the first half of the game. And they just were like, no, we're going to switch it up. And I'm like, this is why y'all going to lose.
I don't know, E. Because I don't know if in the same breath we can sing Mahomes' praises the way we do and not have expected him to make adjustments. Now, if we want to say Wilkes didn't have a counter to the counter, because when you say y'all had to do what y'all was doing in the first half, well, they wasn't going to keep letting them do what they. And if you listen to it, they talked about it. They was doing a lot of zone. No, actually, they talked about Kansas City switching up their defense, right? So they went from zone to a lot of man-to-man to get more pressure. Yeah. But San Francisco, like if you think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to come out in the second half and let you do what you did in the first half and it's going to work, you better have a counter to what they bring next. And they didn't. That's one of those things where it's like when an offensive player in basketball does something crazy, you go, man, that was good defense, better offense. Like San Francisco didn't play awful in the second half, man. 15 just, God.
Yeah, because think about it too, Ray. That's what I was going to
ask. Some of the throws he made, man, like, oh, God.
And listen, that's what he does. I get it. And really quick, before you go, Mike, ladies and gentlemen, just want to let y'all know we are on the NGBN TV network. We will be tuning off in 5 minutes off of the network. But make sure you follow me on all my social media because I got one more topic that I got to discuss with the fellas tonight, and we will be going into overtime. So make sure you stay tuned in. If you are following us on any of the socials, stay tuned because we will be back. But go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say, the Chiefs did, make adjustments. And overall, if you're going to, the bet, it was more of a bet to throw that, speaking of props, Purdy throw an interception than Mahomes. Purdy didn't have a pick, almost did. ball got knocked around. But if you think about it, in the second half, the Niners are up 10-3, then it's, 10-6, then the muffed punt happened and it's 13-10, but the Niners come right back and answer and make it 16-13 and the blocked extra point. And again, right there, Ray, that's another one, that blocked extra point, you make him go for a touchdown there.
To somewhat your credit, Mike, but the situations were very different. When they came back and took the lead, they went for it on fourth down.
Right. And Kittle had that big catch, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
by the way,
that's the thing. I understand going for it there. And look, I'm not going to, I know that you didn't post this, right? Because I saw it and I almost forwarded it to you, but I'm like, I don't even want him to waste his breath or read. Somebody's like, I saw, everybody's got to have a headline. Oh, the Niners window's closed. Really? Are you kidding me right now? That's hilarious to me. But they had an answer and you don't go for it on fourth down there, but Kittle picks up that fourth down. Yeah. Could he have been targeted more? I'm with you on that. You take what they give you, but it's not like, look, the Chiefs, yes, they put up 25 points. It took them to overtime to do it. It was a more defensive team. And yes, 15 when he had to make throws, like you said, Ray, on the read option too. I was like 4th and 1. I was screaming, double A gap blitz, double B gap blitz, something don't just bring it. And he goes for 20 yards. And look, hats off to him. He made the plays, but the Niners were never, and I know you guys aren't saying this, they were never out of the game. And there was, the Chiefs had three basically big drives. Nobody, like Eric said in the first quarter, nobody had it, but that drives me crazy that they didn't go for it on fourth down there.
Do you know when the Niners were out of the game? The minute they kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's it. And
I'm screaming at the TV saying, you got 5 minutes and 46 seconds. You got one job. Don't give Patrick the ball.
No. Listen. That's the thing. They didn't have 5:46, right? They had beyond that because it's possessions. So by the Chiefs having the ball for the first time, when they scored right before the clock hits, that was down to 5 seconds or something.
9 seconds.
They just let it run out. They just got the ball and started a new quarter because it was still their first possession. And each team has to get a chance to.
Oh, you're talking about overtime. No, I'm talking fourth quarter. I'm talking fourth quarter.
I knew that too. I was like, But let me
ask you 5 minutes and 46 seconds when they came out of their TV commercial. And I said, with people at my house, I said, do not, Purdy, do not give Mahomes the ball back. And then as soon as it got to that 2 minute, I saw your post come out, and I am automatic at that point. I said it's over.
I thought they was going into the regulation. They got down to
Right.
like the 7 or 10 or something like that. Quick question, Eric. Off the top of your head, you too, Mike. Just the AFC. If Mahomes is number 1, just real quick off the top of your head, who are the next 4? Because we've been talking about this for 2 years now. The depth of talent at the quarterback position in the AFC, right? If Mahomes is number 1, who are the next 4?
All right, we got 2 minutes, so I'll be quick. I'm gonna say this is in no order. Because I'm just giving you the next 4. I'm gonna say AFC, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Herbert.
Okay, who you got?
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Herbert. Like
First off,
and then Tua would be right outside that, but I'm not taking him over those.
I first off, based off on-field play, like, bro, I saw a top 10 list come out. It had Jared Goff on it, it had Jordan Love on it, had Dak, and it had no Tua. And when I made the case for Tua, it was people killing me in the comments. I couldn't believe it. But with that being said, y'all name 3 of them. I personally, especially with the play, his team made the playoffs last 2 years. Right now, based on that, Tua has a case over Herbert, right?
Okay.
We could say that the next best 4 quarterbacks in the AFC are Burrow, Allen, Jackson, Tua. We could say that, right? 15 done beat them all in the playoffs the last 2 years. like 3 of them this year. Like that's just unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave it at that. Like I said, join us on all of our social medias because it's the after party. It's overtime. But for my man, the sports portal with Pay Ray Lynn, my man Mike Carrot-Tenuto, your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. We will see y'all at our socials here. We got overtime. Like one more thing to talk about. But for those on NGBN TV, thank you. Everyone have a good night. Stay blessed.